Welcome fellow folders to a brand new video, and in today's video we have a really cool tutorial for this origami dice by Tanaka Masashi. Hopefully I pronounced that correct, I probably didn't, but we have this really unique dice, 6 sides, each one has 1 to 6 on it, and it's a really unique model. I think this is one of the more complex dices there are. I know there are a few other variations that seem to be easier, but this one's harder for the exact same result, so we're going to be doing this. Again, really unique dice. Again, it's a really cool model. If you've never made it, never thought about making it, again, you can hopefully follow this tutorial. I'll show it as best as possible. I'll show you all the tips and the tricks to put it all together. So we're going to have 3 parts for this tutorial. The first part will be collapsing the crease pattern, and then in part 2 we'll go from the crease pattern, from the base to making numbers 1 to 6 on each part. I'll show you how to do all that, and then the final part will be going from making forming the cube. So that's basically the idea. Maybe I'll condense it into 2, but we'll wait and see. So crease pattern to the base, the finished model. So there are 2 crease patterns online. Both of them have minor mistakes. So I have redrawn the crease pattern. I'll link that in the description. I never printed it for this video, but in the description I've redrawn it so it's all fully flat foldable and in the correct orientation. So make sure to download that, because the other 2 crease patterns that I'll put on the screen now, minor colours that are wrong, as of course I used that to crease this colour in, and then once I realised there were a few mistakes when collapsing this, I just fixed them. So make sure to download the correct crease pattern in the description, have it on the screen as well in case you want to take a picture, whatever is easiest. Now, there's no exact proper way or sequence to collapse this. I am just going to collapse it as I always have. It will be more of a general collapse in progress video, so I will do it extremely slow, talk you through it, pause the video when you need to, make sure you've got things lined up. Most importantly, every time you go back and forth from the crease pattern, visualise the colours and just follow it as close as possible. So now, first of all, I'm just going to make this mountain fold here. We're basically going to try and work our way around in a clockwise position. That should be the general progress. There may be ways that are much easier, but this is the one that I have always done ever since I made this model like 10 times. It's been the same process. Of course, everyone has different ways of doing it. So I'm just going to do this. But first of all, I want to get this little part locked in place. And then we just want to again make this mountain fold here to push out this part. Like so. And then just make this mountain fold. Slot it in like that. And then we want to just push up using this bar fold and this mountain fold. Again, if I'm going fast, do not worry, I will show each part as it gets collapsed. It's easiest that way. And then just fold it. Now next we want to form this rectangle along with these parts here. It's just so we can start to collapse this region and get it somewhat flat. So follow the crease pattern. Basically just tuck these parts as much as we can at the moment, so they won't lie perfectly flat like this. Then I'm just going to push up from this point, and then in. Now how these creases work is they all sort of push into one another in order to get this part to collapse flat. So we're going to work on this part first and then move on. So if you have this, what we're going to do is open up this part. Fold. The one thing that you should know is when you have the base, you should have used all of the diagonals that you made during pre-creasing. If not, then you won't have the correct base. So like that, and then just fold up. And then while you want to keep this part locked in place because that will help to hold all this together, you can fold that part down like that. So once I complete a part, I'll just basically unfold it and then show you. So it may seem confusing, but just again follow the crease pattern as best as you can, and if you need to rewind the video or play it a bit slower. So next we are going to just work on this part, so it's mostly bringing it all together. Now we want to form this crease so we can then make this mountain fold work. So again, it's just a matter of bringing this part together. And in fact, we'll form this crease as well. Yeah, so we'll form this part, so it makes it easier to collapse this part. I'm going to be going everywhere, so I will go as slow as possible to help show it as easy as possible. I'll just extend this thing out first. Right, and that should be, I think, for this part. now we can use this long mountain fold and then connect up these ones. Now that we have these parts connected, before we can actually fully use this crease, we need to swap about the layers on this part. So if we open it up, and this part here with the mountain fold, we need to push it down. So we use a valley fold and the mountain fold, like so. We fold this part up. Again, so we create this little section here. And then fold it over. So this is the part that we tucked inside. Again, follow the crease pattern as best as possible because it will help. Even though I'm trying to show it as best, it can be tricky to do so. So I am your visual guide. So now that we've done that, everything will start to lie in place. You know that it's worked because we've used all the correct creases and it's feeling nice and flat. It's all locked in. So let's see. Yeah, now we can go to this corner where it has these parts on it, and we'll just make the mountain folds. We'll just swing it around and form them. And then this point here, we are going to line up, and then we're going to push this part down, and then the same on the other side while we form this part so it gets tucked in. Forms that. So it's all about the creases switching colours. When you line up, they all form the mountain fold, and then the same with the valley fold. Do this. Like that. So we are slowly starting to bring it together. It looks a mess, but it will form nice and neat. Now let's see. Yeah, we'll just continue here. So just open up the paper, and we're just going to make the mountain fold and the mountain fold here. So if you hold it like this and press it flat, it will be easier to bring it together. This part sort of tucks itself around one another. So this part folds up like that. Maybe we should come back to that. So we're going to switch around. Back to where we started. We went to the left hand side, we're going to go on the right hand side. And the same again, we're just going to form this point a bit better if we don't already. And then this square mountain fold. Push in the valley. And then swing it up. And then swivel it around to use this valley fold. Like that. Use the valley fold here first. Only worry about that one right now. So we'll just swing it up like that and don't worry too much about. That's actually right, isn't it? Yeah, that's right. Next, we're just going to form this part. So every time I basically say, when I move on, just keep an eye on the crease pattern so you're holding it in the right orientation of the way I'm holding it. That's all in place. Just checking. That's fine. Okay, so now we are going to collapse this part right here. So what we do is we form the valley folds. We'll just bring these mountains up at the moment. And it's a lot easier if you do it on the other side. In fact, maybe not. Yeah, we'll come back to that part. Let's see, where can we go next? So continuing from this end, I think this is a better way to do it. So we'll make the whole valley fold, bring the edges together. We will make the mountain fold. And then that mountain fold here. Like so, and then this valley fold, which will make it lie flat. So we had this. I'll bring the camera down a bit. Yeah, that's a bit too close. Lost myself. Okay. So we bring this part together and then make the mountain folds here, the valley fold this part up and then overlap that. Now when that's locked in place, we'll fold this up. Push in here, and then it should be a bit easier to collapse this part. Then we can form this little X here, at least on the right hand side. Maybe the left as well. I think we can get both sides done here. And then it's just tucking in this part. And now because these creases all alternate between colours, we're going to try and put this part in place now. So what we do is, we have it like this. And then you're basically making this a mountain fold first because it will make it easier. I'm going to grab both parts like this and then push down. And what that does is it splits this part here, it splits them open. But just stand up to make sure you can focus so we can see this. So this part right here, this part right here. Like that. And then you do that until it feels nice and flat. That allows you to collapse this part. And forming this part back together should allow us to get a much flatter position. And now we can make this point. And fold it over. Again, just make sure you have everything in place here. It's all nicely, neatly collapsed. So this part can be neatly collapsed as well. And then we can essentially fold all of these layers up. So we have the start at the back and it's slowly coming together at the front. So now we can go back to this part. It should be easier to put in place. So if you can, just make the right hand side of this part flat, and then you can hold it like this. And then we are going to form this part. So I'm going to push it and like that. And then just pull the part to the front. This part in like that. So it near enough has to come together on both sides for it to lie flat. Again, it can be the other way about, whatever way makes it easier for you to get a flat finish for this part, do that, and then you can adjust it later on. Now next, the final part is mostly just opening it up and using the creases that we haven't used yet. So again, refer to the crease part as your best friend, especially for this part, the final part. final part. It's proven to be a bit tricky. Tuck it in like that to fully make. But leaving it like this will be perfectly fine. Right. I think that's supposed to be a valley fold. Did I colour it in wrong? That's why I can get it to lie flat. I missed one crease. This one should be a valley fold. So we tuck that in, fold it up, fold that in. And then across. And this is the base for the dice. So hopefully you managed to follow that. I know it was somewhat confusing. It is for this type of collapse because everything has to come together at specific angles. So I'll open up each part individually and then just hopefully this helps you collapse it. But it does get much easier from here. That was just the hard part of this model. The rest is fairly straightforward other than making the one for the one side, but the rest is straightforward. So if you have this, fantastic, great job. If you don't have it, go back to the crease pattern, refer to each part and then just double, triple check that you have this exact layout. Even though we have this and I'm not folded it over, so I just, this part makes the 5, so I just double check to make sure it was all correct, which it is. So when you have this. When it lies flat, it should look like this. So just fold this part over, then down. We're using all the colours on the crease pattern, so just follow that, and then this part over. And that is the actual base. But again, it makes it easier to just keep it like this, so you know that you have it all nice, neat and flat. So I hope that you managed to collapse this crease pattern. It can be a bit tricky, but following the actual crease pattern whilst doing your actual fold will make it a lot easier. And if you have any questions, please ask me in the comments, message me, and I will gladly help you out as much as possible. So that is it, everyone. Thank you for watching part 1, and I will see you in the next part where we will form all the sides and then collapse it in part 3 or at the end of part 2. I'll wait and see. But that is it, everyone. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next part.